August 9, 2025, Durango Dank here. When you think about the vibrant bond, vibrant Denver bond debt, it's debt, 100%. And this is what AI overview is talking about the vibrant Denver bond, and that it is a debt. It's a $950 million debt, which the 2017 um, $1 billion Michael Hancock, Denver mayor at the time, and they passed the Elevate Denver bond. It went to pay for all this infrastructure that, when you drive down the road, some of the bridges that really need to be fixed on Mississippi and other areas aren't getting fixed. Potholes aren't getting fixed. So they're taking the money, they're robbing Peter, the citizens, to pay Paul, the government. And when a community sits there and brags constantly about how badass they are and that, oh man, this is it, but they're debt influencers. They're not talking about paying back the debt. They're not talking about financing anything. No police new equipment, no firefighter new equipment. No. It's all social voter control issues. They're all their 501(c)(3)s and their DEI equity, all those non profits that are really identifiers for the Democratic Party of Denver. And this is where the National Denver, they got to realize that this was set in court case 23CV54. And they openly bragged about in the court that they haven't followed the Spear Amendment, which is a city charter law that gives Denver the absolute authority and non-political, where the citizens have power. Here, it's a partisanship for the last 63 years. And so AI cannot rely on humans that are government officials to tell the truth anymore. And they don't. And if I showed you that, Mike Johnson would be running pee down his legs. City councils would be running pee down all their legs. And they'd all still be wallowing in it they'll still wallow even when they hear this. Open the door, it's the feds. I believe it's coming. Because these are all, in my opinion and other people's opinion, RICO Act violators. They control the elections. You got Paul Lopez, who I sued, court case 23CV54. In that court hearing, I asked about the Spear Amendment, and Michelle Horn, who was the assistant city attorney for Denver, now she's the senior assistant city attorney. So they are rewarded. Carrie Tipper's no longer in that group. She's not the head lady no more. She's moved on to other jobs, paying jobs with Colorado universities. So the more and more these people spread their disease within the infrastructures of other departments, other entities, their voices follow them. And that's the new voice latent print that I've been talking about. And see, when any of these people decide to start talking about, like Mike Johnson decided he was going to be the AI savvy mayor, he was going to hold the first Den AI, which is Den Artificial Intelligence, Denver, but I already owned AIDenvermayor.com because I knew Mike Johnston, because I just know. And if I was in front of a court, I'd show them, and Mike Johnson again would be peeing down his fucking leg. He's an attorney. This was the time that we really needed an attorney, all the other times. And see, when you think about the election process that got him elected, only 90,000 people voted for him. So when you get people like Denver Right, CBS, Denver 7, NBC, all these people say, oh, we took a poll and 55% of Denver voters approve of Michael Johnston's fucking work. That's bullshit. So you're telling me that only 90,000 people voted for him, but yet 250,000 voters, 150,000 voters said, "Oh, we were wrong about Michael. We like what Mike Johnston's doing. All of the crushing of our restaurants, everybody bailing, but don't worry about it because it'll be fried fish in a pan." And they get the new people from, the debt from California, Chicago, all the other blue cities that say, "Oh, well, they have murders in Denver, but it's not as high as here." So they all come here and they go and they take over restaurants that they don't have to pay tentative improvements because they just took it over somebody else that ran it for 20 years and used all their life savings, and they're so fucking embarrassed to even tell anybody that nobody's coming into Denver to party. Nobody comes into Denver to shop. Nobody's visiting. People are moving. The smart people. And what's throwing a wrench in it is the same people that are moving out of these blue cities. They're starting to think, you know what? I can't live like this no more. I got grandkids. I don't want nothing to happen to them. And Democrats have turned into a very slippery slope organization. And they all been caught. And they still, all of them, Mike Johnston, Obama, Michelle Obama, Biden, his wife, everybody, Joaquin Jeffries, Lizard Man. Somebody said he looked like a lizard. I look like a crow, so I don't care. It's not name calling. You're just animalizing humans. But seriously, folks, Mike Johnston is completely a non-profit dude. He doesn't know how to raise money. When they say, "Oh, he ran companies and he did this," yeah. Well, he must, for whatever, all his accolades and pat on the backs and all the money that they raised, he can't do this. And this is what I would have brought to the table. I could have fired all of the IT people in the department heads. Excuse me. I get ahead of myself sometimes. And do their job. So that the next mayor, we teach him how to do it. And we teach other people to take on more with the same. In other words, they're taking on more responsibilities, because I can tell you this right now, folks. When you think about how many times we have an election, you think about all those people they have on payroll down at the Denver elections building. When you think of all the wasted, just the hiring of city council people, so they just got a raise. July 16th, and they're looking at all the city employees that have voted for them that are on the chopping block. They kept their jobs. See, if they were really smart, they would have said, "You know what? We're all forfeit our pay for the next 2 years." Did that come out of their mouth? Fuck no. In all actuality, Mike Johnston thought he was so slick. Okay, he thought he was so slick that he was going to get his top people 44% raises. And what happened was, what sources are telling me, that the people that financed him and all this shit, they're like, "Look, dude, look, boy." This is what they said. "Look, boy, you're jamming us up. You're taking on responsibility of management of apartment of hotels." So the hotels all made their money, okay? But the people that were put in those hotels, the illegals, that they keep wanting to just call migrants, see, they can go ahead and dovetail the truth and call up their little words and their little phrases, but they've been indexed for 18 years. And they've done their best to try to keep bullshitting in all the identifiers. And see, AI lets them come out of the closet. And when that balance is pushed to where there's not enough people coming out of that closet, and see, the same people get the information. That's why when you look at the voters that didn't vote in the final election between Kelly, who had $100 million deficits for 7 years, folks, under Hickenlooper. She went to work for $450,000 at that worthless Denver Chamber of Commerce. That right there is just a bunch of administrators laughing at all those people and all the promises that they're trying to keep these people, while the government's just twist fucking them. And so now nobody comes to Denver. There are no revenues. That's why we have a $250 million debt. And notice how none of these people, none of them talked about paying back the 250 million shortfall. No. And Mike Johnston can't come out and tell everybody how bad it is, because he needs to see, before he plays that card, he wants to see what happens with that ballot issue. Then he'll have to come out when it doesn't pay, just like the 2R. Remember, he was dancing in the street with his signs, posing with certain employees, wearing clothes they shouldn't be wearing. You know what I mean? They all dress like they're just woke up. You watch what they wear. Like Mike Johnson in his cheap ass suits. No offense, but he got to stop buying his suits from Kmart, man, or wherever he's buying them from. I never see. This is what I mean. These people just use money, other people's money, and eventually, do you ever run out of taxpayers' money? No. This is why they're saying, oh hey, we're gonna go ahead and these other bond projects that we had that paid for everything, that fooled everybody about all of our city streets and funding numerous infrastructures, all the way from Mike Johnston, Mike Hancock, Michael B, and Michael C. Now we're going to have Michael F, Michael F minus. What are they having? What are they going with it? So these are the things that Denver voter is going to have. Well, they already have, but Mike Johnson don't know this. So, Michael, I'm telling you, bro, just like I told you about Kelly, bro, and see what happened with Mike Johnson and Kelly, bro? When I didn't get on the ballot, I had enough signatures, folks. But in the court case, I needed the judge to either allow the government to continue not upholding a law that keeps them in power. So Andrew Luxon needs to be removed from the bench. And all those judges and all those lawyers that are talking, keep talking. Keep sending those text messages, because all your stuff is indexed into the cloud because you're lawyers. And this is how the federal government is going to be coming in, knocking on doors, in my opinion, and shut this machine down. You're going to see it, bro. Bros and girls. You're going to see it. And just remember, you guys were warned for the last 18 fucking years. This clown show is over, man. And it couldn't happen to a better group of fucking people. Did I cuss? Did I hurt your feelings? Well, when you get your tax bill from these people in our government telling you it's not a tax, it's a revolving credit card for people that not, you should be getting that money back. Could you use $1,000 in your pocket right now, homeowners, property owners? And when you think about that, out of the property owners, 49% live in their properties. 51% is rented out. So anything that you give to people that are renting, that cost is going to go to what? The renters. Look, we're not paying this. We're not going to pay this. So we're going to have to raise your, even though it's already coming out of their taxes, that should have been rebated to them, or at least pay back the money that they're supposed to. So this is what they don't want, because when everything runs out, the money that's left over, it can't be moved out of where the money is. So when it goes to the general obligation fund, okay, that's where this money's going. Mike Johnson's going to pay that 44% that he's promised all those administrators. One beat feet, went to work for somebody else because she didn't get a raise like she was promised. So when you think about what's going on behind the scene, it's manipulation of people that are nonprofits, and they're running out of donations. And so when you run out of donations, then you got to hit the tax. And the tax is what's been funding all these projects. We're going to do $800 million over here. That's what they do. They bloviate. And other people around the United States are going, wait a second, aren't they in debt? Did they just have a 250? See, common sense tells you that Denver is no longer on top. Common sense tells you the sales tax revenue that is generated to pay for all this stuff. So when they all pat themselves on the back, they're doing it because they raised revenue, but they don't know how to think like that. They raised debt, which is just like taking money, other people's money, and oh, but we pay it back. Yeah, but the problem is the same people that aren't coming to fill up the current real estate that's in those buildings right now. Okay, what makes you think that you're going to fix up 16th Street Mall? Nobody's shopping there. I've been there. My office is down there. I take a walk down 16th Street Mall, and all I see is people with backpacks. So Mike Johnston traded people that could afford to live here, to afford to pay the cool stuff we have that nobody goes to because they got no money, with people that don't have no money that he can put in all these hotels so that he can put I ended homelessness in Denver, which is complete utter bullshit. Mike Johnston, wash your mouth out with soap, boy.